Message from Matthew. Population's energy. Population's energy, change being felt, sensation of speed, ascension, synchronicity, scientific learning. Feminine, masculine energies. With loving greetings from all souls at this station, this is Matthew. It may not appear that action is moving toward peace, prosperity, cooperation, and preserving the planet. However, plans for that are being discussed behind the curtain of the world stage. What is evident is the divisiveness caused by the flurry of thoughts and feelings, along with political polarization and differences in religions, cultures, and societal values are the widely varying attitudes about the future. Souls you have helped awaken are enthusiastically embracing the winds of change. Individuals who are financially well off are dragging their heels. They want to keep the shady procedures and structures that enabled them to easily become wealthy. The many who are struggling financially are stressed and desperate, and dark ones are scared about being prosecuted for their crimes. That mixture of energy could only produce conflict and commotion, and it is. But it will diminish when ongoing efforts show the world is on the move in positive new directions. Although most changes are not visible, all are being felt. The vibrations that are undergirding light forces actions around the world are buffeting bodies, minds, and spirits, and your dense bodies are not immune to the effects. Adjusting to the waves of lighter energy will come faster and easier if you sleep more than usual, be in nature as often as possible, spend restorative time in solitude, and stay hydrated. Everything has been in acceleration mode for 2 decades, but the recent influx of higher frequencies is evoking the sensation of even greater speed. It seems that time is passing faster and happenings are coming more and more swiftly because Earth is orbiting in successively lighter energy planes on her ascension course. Some messengers of the light perceive ascension as a single spectacular event that affects every soul on the planet. We see 2 kinds of ascension, and both are processes. Planetary started nearly a century ago, and will continue until Earth is securely in high 5th density, the vibrational level where Gaia and her planetary body originated. Personal is souls growing spiritually and consciously through a series of developments that sometimes is 1 step forward, 1 back, and other times is full steam ahead. Every soul has the choice to grow in awareness during this lifetime, or wait for the same opportunity in another incarnation. In a related matter, your dictionary definition of synchronicity, meaningful coincidences, falls so very short of the actuality. Synchronicity is the workings of the universe that serve the best interests of each soul, by opening doors to the kinds of experiences chosen in its contract, and the pre-birth agreement made by all souls who want to share the lifetime. Special individuals, locations, and circumstances involved in each person's life don't appear in chronological order, but in the sequence required for individual aspects to develop at the appropriate time. As the response to each new aspect is energetically registered in the person's Akashic record, it signals the next to be at the ready, and each new aspect fits where it belongs so as to form the soul's chosen lifetime. What is new about this ancient arrangement, that is customized for every soul in every physical lifetime, is the swiftness of developments. Doors are opening very quickly, and the time to take advantage of each synchronous step is fleeting. Acting on situations that have become increasingly important to you can result in major changes in relationships, locations, fields of interest, or employment. Your intuition, which the high frequencies and new coding have sharpened and expanded, will guide you in confidently making decisions that will lead to the experiencing you chose. That is the goal of every soul in every lifetime, and this uniquely represents challenges and advantages. Persons who chose to complete all 3rd density karmic lessons and achieve the balance needed to evolve are dealing with very heavy burdens in some cases. Others, in the soul cluster, are assisting with the most difficult lessons. Puppets of the dark forces are fiercely trying to keep their toehold on the global economy, mainstream media, and generating fear, even knowing that their attempts will be futile. When fervent soul searchers heed their intuition, they don't need to know about synchronicity to recognize and boldly enter all open doors. Dear brothers and sisters, you may want to ponder this. It is the doors you decided to pass through or decline to enter in your multiple lifetimes that have led you to this very moment. Can our environment and Mother Earth sustain the onslaught of drilling for oil and gas? Yes, until there are replacements. Gaia's fortitude and desire to supply what her life forms need will preserve her planetary body until help arrives, and it is on the way. Scientists in Nirvana are filtering information to selected scientists on Earth during their sleeping hours, and in their waking hours, they credit their intuition with the revelation that the planet is a living organism, and all its elements are as essential to it as all body parts are to humankind. They are receiving ways to harness free energy, which they believe are results of serious thoughts, and they are sharing their discoveries with colleagues and students. Before long, persons with interest and aptitude will realize they have all scientific knowledge at soul level. Gaia's sensitive message included these remarks: we are all concerned about the mistreatment from the broken masculine system that now is in full view, but it has been operating for millennia. It is a mindset that has no regard for my well-being at all. Do you know why she spoke so disparagingly about masculine energy? The best way to answer that question is to describe masculine and feminine energies, and apply that to planetary history. First, we say, the energies have nothing to do with gender or sexual orientation. They are streamers with attachments of characteristics. Competitiveness, aggression, sternness, persistence, control, warrior temperament, and determination to succeed are associated with masculine energy. Feminine energy has gentle, nurturing nature, sensitivity, compassion, thoughtfulness, patience, and empathy. Both energies are strong, protective, courageous, contain art in its myriad forms, value closeness with nature, and can lead to cooperation, innovation, adventure, and discovery. Integrating aspects of both energies helps attain the balance that is the aim of every soul in every incarnation. The closer to androgyny the ideal balance of the two energies, the more light is within a person, and the greater is his or her evolutionary status. The same is true of an entire civilization. Now then, individuals who have predominantly masculine traits can use them wisely, productively, and bravely, or they can direct their energy to start wars and cause massive death toll, widespread suffering, and geographic devastation. For long ages the latter is what Gaia endured. As always, some souls in her civilizations were brutal and violent. The low vibrations emitted throughout millennia caused the planet to devolve from fifth density to deep third and become mired there. Arnold, a member of extraterrestrial special forces, spoke about that. During the eons the planet was trapped in deep third density energy. The imbalance that caused its descent from fifth density to that level continued to increase. Eventually the orbit was so out of kilter that only an inpouring of light saved Earth from flying out into space and certain destruction. The light beamed by highly evolved worlds was the feminine energy that was needed to start balancing the masculine energy that had been dominant during the long reign of darkness. I'm not demeaning masculine energy or exalting feminine. Both have strengths and desirable qualities. But for a civilization to thrive, the two energies must be in balance. February 3, 2025. The effects of feminine energy started with the influx of light almost a century ago, and have been increasing ever since. Although traits and streamer attachments have nothing at all to do with gender, the contrast is striking between how women were regarded when masculine energy was overwhelmingly dominant, and how that has changed since feminine energy has been flowing in. For instance, a century ago girls were expected to marry and have children. Thus female university students were few and far between. Now they outnumber male students, and many women are professors or academic board members. After women entered fields of employment traditionally filled by men, their leadership capabilities led to management positions, or they established successful businesses. Women distinguish themselves in military forces, and their numbers in governments, from local to national, keep increasing. The elevation of women in every field and capacity does not apply in the Muslim world. That will come when evidence emerges that dark minds and hearts created the concept that women are inferior to men, and therefore have no rights. This wickedness came from the same kind of evildoers that later devised Christian laws to control believers. If you don't know which truth will be publicly announced first, would you please give your best guesstimate? We do not know, so we shall tell you that we think the first will be the COVID pandemic and the effects of so-called vaccines. That isn't prophetic, it seems logical and prudent. A great deal of factual information published by healthcare personnel and medical specialists is widely circulated in some quarters, and we don't see mass shock when those reports are made known. We also think die-hard adherents of the authorities probably will poo the evidence, and very likely vaccinated people who believe it will feel betrayed, outraged, and perhaps remorseful about scorning family and friends who refuse to comply with mandates. Eventually Earth's accurate history will be revealed, and so as not to shock the collective psyche, truths will emerge in stages. But come forth they shall, so Gaia's wounds can be healed, and so can all souls who bled at the hands of satanic worshippers. Beloved ones, you volunteered for a mission of paramount importance not only to members of the universal family on Earth, but to all souls in this universe. Indeed, you are the strongest of the strong, but never have you been expected to manage this task of monumental scope by yourselves. Always you have had unseen assistance from loved ones in spirits worlds, guardian angels, souls in the lower angelic realms, spirit guides, and the powerful supportiveness of all light beings. Unconditional love. Love and peace. Suzanne Ward. Intuitive Astrology Forecast May 2025. May 2025 holds a different energy than the months before it, which will bring a welcome change. The planetary energies are on the move, inspiring us to step forward and perhaps even take some leaps of faith. We are hitting new ground and will feel like we are emerging into a new, and hopefully brighter chapter. After having 0 major planets in retrograde since April 13th, we break the spell on May 4th, with Pluto stationing retrograde in Aquarius. This retrograde energy is subtle, and will be working on the deeper layers of our being. We won't necessarily feel a slowdown in our outer world, but we may find ourselves reflecting and pondering on the transformations and changes that have unfolded in our lives since October 2024. May also brings opportunities to get in touch with our spiritual side. Kicking off with a Scorpio full moon, we may find ourselves doing some deep soul searching and unearthing deeper truths about our path and purpose. This trend will continue with the Algol Gateway, the Alice Own Gateway, and the Silver Gate portal, all of which take place this month. These stargates are high-frequency points in our year for connecting with the cycles of death and rebirth and honoring the ebb and flow of life. We may feel more connected to our loved ones past, or find ourselves experiencing awakenings that connect us to our path and potential. Towards the end of the month, we experience a milestone event of 2025, which is Saturn's move into Aries. This shift signals the start of a new karmic cycle that will be with us for the next 2.5 years. While in Aries, Saturn will also align with Neptune, bringing an incredibly rare cosmic transit to work with. Overall, May 2025 brings a fresh perspective and plenty of opportunities for a rebirth. Let's take a closer look into the key astrological events of May 2025. May 2025 Astrology May 1st to 3rd, Venus conjunct Neptune. Venus and Neptune come together in the sign of Aries, creating magical notes of harmony. While both Venus and Neptune don't love to be in fiery Aries, their presence will bring a soothing calm, helping us to feel more compassionate and perhaps more open, especially when it comes to matters of the heart. Venus and Neptune together can spark romance, creative inspirations, and help us to see beyond our current reality. It is also a nice planetary combination for spending time with those that we love, or planning a relaxing getaway. May 4th, Pluto retrograde in Aquarius since April 12th. We have had 0 major planets in retrograde, but now the spell is broken with Pluto entering its annual retrograde in the sign of Aquarius. Pluto spends about 6 months of the year in retrograde, so this is part of its natural rhythm. In retrograde, Pluto gets us to focus on the subtler frequencies and to reflect on the transformations that have taken place not necessarily in our outer world, but in our inner world. Pluto retrograde is a subtle energy as it works on the deepest layers of our being, helping us to release and shed some of those old energies we no longer need to carry. You can think of Pluto retrograde as a time to sort through all that has been uncovered from deep within our subconscious. As Pluto will be retrograde in the sign of Aquarius, we may find ourselves thinking about community or pondering how we fit in. Aquarius can be a very healing energy, so our attention may turn to practices that enrich our well-being. On the world stage, we may see Pluto retrograde shining a spotlight on the use of technology and AI. Pluto will end its retrograde journey by October 13, 2025. May 10, Mercury in Taurus. Mercury, the planet of communication, enters earthy Taurus, where we are encouraged to ground our thinking. This is a great time to clear the mental clutter and focus on the thoughts that bring us nourishment and support. We may also find it easier to plan out budgets or long-term goals that are focused on bringing us security. May 12, Scorpio full moon. The Scorpio full moon is always one of the most magical and mystical of the year. In traditional astrology, the moon in Scorpio is said to be an unfavorable position, however I think there are deeper layers that can be activated here. Scorpio represents transformation and the cycles of death and rebirth. With the moon in Scorpio, we have the potential to peel back the deepest layers and find a new wisdom or a new way of being. Peeling back layers can be a painful process and can stir a lot of lingering emotions, but there is also a magic to digging deeper and allowing ourselves to access the more hidden parts of our being. The 2025 Scorpio full moon is a great time to let any heaviness go and to focus on release work. Our attention is very much going to be centered around our emotions, but we may also find ourselves experiencing a deep aha moment as well. Uranus is active under this full moon too, indicating some instability or restlessness, but it seems the more we can be real with ourselves and how we are feeling, the easier time we will have navigating whatever unfolds. May 15th to 17th. Algol Gateway. The Algol Gateway is activated by the Sun aligning with the fixed star, Algol. Algol is one of the most notorious stars in astrology, however its reputation is largely misguided. Algol represents the power we obtain after moving through the cycle of death and rebirth. Algol is closely linked with the myth of Medusa. Medusa began as an oracle goddess, but was turned into a gorgon with a head of snakes. Through this metamorphosis, however, she only became stronger. This is the essence of Algol. It teaches us to find our strength and power, no matter the transformations that have found us. You can read more on Algol and how to work with this energy here. May 17th, Venus leaves shadow phase. Venus finally leaves its post-retrograde shadow phase, returning to its former strength and to new territory in our cosmic skies. Venus leaving her shadow phase can bring a final resolution and conclusion to matters of the heart that have been stirring since February and March of this year. Consider this a graduation point when it comes to our heart space. Hopefully, we are all able to feel more confident when it comes to our relationships and the giving and receiving of love in our lives. We may also receive some good news about our finances, or feel more empowered by our financial situation. You can learn more about Venus retrograde here. May 17th to 18th, Sun conjunct Uranus in Taurus. The annual Sun-Uranus conjunction takes place in Taurus for the final time. Since May 2018, Uranus has been navigating the earthy, stable, and predictable sign of Taurus, but this journey is getting ready to come to a close, and this is one of the last major alignments Uranus will make. The Sun and Uranus coming together signifies rebirth of Uranian energy. Under the presence of the Taurus zodiac, we are called to bring more grounding and stability to some of our more out there or bold ideas. Since 2018, the universe has really been encouraging us to create some longevity and stability in our lives. Making big, grand changes may have been difficult, or we may have felt a lot of stagnation since this time frame. We are now preparing to wrap up this journey, hopefully with a deeper understanding of what healthy change can look like in our lives. Perhaps we have a better and more grounded relationship with the idea of instability. Perhaps we are able to observe how the push-pull between making changes and staying the same has been unfolding in our lives. May 20th, Gemini season begins. The sun moves out of steady, grounded Taurus into the social and quick-witted sign of the Twins. Gemini is an air sign, which means energy will move from our lower chakras to our higher chakras, fueling our creativity and our desire to share. Gemini season is a great time to focus on communication and working with our hands. It is also power time when it comes to recognizing both aspects of our being. We are a soul, but we are also a physical body. This is the nature of the Gemini twins. One twin is mortal and the other is immortal, representing our temporary body and our forever soul. May 19th to 21st, Allisone Gateway/Pleiades Gateway. The Allisone Gateway is activated by the sun aligning with the star Allisone, one of the major stars of the Pleiades. Alcyone could be defined as the feminine version of Sirius. If Sirius is our spiritual sun, then Allisone can be our shadow sun, the sun that shines a light on all that deeper, darker stuff we have to wade through in order to reach new levels of spiritual awareness. These shadows are our fears and repressed emotions. These shadows are also the feelings of shame we may possess around ourselves and our lives. Exposing and bringing these into the light is always possible, but under the influence of the Pleiades, we may feel divinely supported and guided to do this work. The Pleiades are also strongly connected to the spirit world, and may help us to connect with loved ones past. May 24th, Saturn in Aries. Saturn's move into Aries creates a new karmic cycle to work with and is one of the key events of the year. Saturn spends about 2.5 years in each sign of the zodiac. So the last time it was in Aries was roughly 28 years ago. Saturn in Aries indicates a new chapter of self-growth and mastery. We will be offered new lessons that will challenge us, but ultimately lead us down a new path of maturity. In Aries, Saturn will be working on the relationship with the ego, our relationship with anger and other heated emotions, and what inspires us to take action in the world. As Aries is the first sign of the zodiac, we may feel inspired to begin something new. Aries is also the leader of the zodiac, so we may find we take on greater leadership roles in our lives too. What's noteworthy about this transit is that Neptune will also be in Aries, meaning that both Saturn and Neptune will hover close by each other. While they won't officially meet until 2026, their close interaction will definitely be one to take note of. If you want to get a deeper understanding of what Saturn in Aries may bring your way, you can think back to themes and patterns that were emerging 28 to 29 years ago. You can also look to see where Aries is in your natal chart. Stay tuned for more on all of this. May 25th, Mercury in Gemini. Mercury loves to be in Gemini. Mercury in Gemini is quick thinking, sharp, and excellent at storytelling. Use this energy to problem solve and to bring support to any communication projects you may be working on. May 26th, Gemini New Moon. The Gemini New Moon helps to bring balance to our body and soul, or this earthly realm, and the realm of spirit. We may find ourselves needing to take a more human approach, or to detach and allow the nature of spirit to take over. Finding our balance will ultimately be key, but it seems we are being called to recognize where we need to trust more versus plan more. Mercury, the messenger of the gods, is active under this new moon, helping to unearth divine messages that we may need to hear. Pay attention to signs and synchronicities from the universe, especially today. Mercury, in tandem with the new moon, will also be supporting communicative efforts and projects we may be working on. May 29th to 30th, Sun conjunct Mercury, Mercury Kazumi. This is a power day in Mercury's cycle and helps to activate and recharge its energy. Mercury represents our mind and mental processes, so in a way, this can create an activation and recharging of our own minds. We may find new inspiration finds us, or that we are better able to sort through mental chatter. We may start to think differently about something or start to see a new pathway emerge that we didn't think about before. May 29th to 31st, Aldebaran Gateway/Silvergate Portal. When the Sun aligns with the Royal Star, Aldebaran, it activates a portal of high-frequency energy. Some astrologers refer to this as the Silvergate Portal. This portal beams down energy that can sharpen our minds, deepen our intuition, and increase our wisdom. Aldebaran is also said to be the resting place for souls right before they reincarnate back on Earth. In this resting place, the soul has a chance to reflect on why it is coming to Earth and the lessons it will attain. We can channel this space by connecting with our higher self and soul contract, and remembering that every experience is a lesson. The Galactic Federation of Light, activation of New Earth Alliance 5D contact groups, and the primacy of sovereign intention. Greetings to the sovereign Earth humans of Terra Nova. This communication comes from the Galactic Federation of Light, through authorized interdimensional relays, to inform you of a significant update in the planetary contact protocols aligned with the vibrational threshold now crossed by your collective consciousness. As of this cycle, the Galactic Federation has recognized and initiated the New Earth Alliance 5D Contact Network, a decentralized network of Earth-based human souls who have awakened to multi-dimensional awareness and have affirmed their intention for peaceful, conscious galactic interaction. These groups are not governed by terrestrial governments, nor are they bound by non-disclosed treaties or suppressed protocols enacted without the collective consent of humanity. They are established in accordance with universal law of free will, law of non-interference, cosmic accord for emerging civilizations. Each group's functioning is governed by resonance, frequency coherence, and alignment with benevolent interstellar codes, governmental deception and the nullification of consent. You are hereby reminded. Any agreement or suppression enacted by Earth governments without the informed and collective consent of the populace is not recognized as binding within the intergalactic framework of ethical contact. The Galactic Federation acknowledges that disclosure has been systematically withheld. Human sovereignty has been undermined. Informed public participation in contact initiatives has been obstructed. Therefore, the intention of the individual now supersedes the authority of any institution that has acted in secrecy or distortion. Your conscious will is the active interface for contact initiation. The importance of stated sovereign intention. Contact in higher dimensional frameworks is initiated not by force or politics, but by intentional vibrational signaling. When a human being states and holds the following type of intention clearly, it becomes a bridge in the interdimensional field. I declare my sovereign intent to connect with benevolent galactic beings of light and truth, independent of any government or third-party control. I stand in my free will, and I am open to safe, conscious, and mutually respectful interaction, physical or non-physical. This declaration initiates an override of imposed frequency blockages. The creation of a personal energy signature within the Federation's peaceful contact grid. A harmonization of timelines that allow for physical or telepathic engagement. What happens when this intention is held? Your consciousness phase locks with the contact bandwidths. Your bioenergetic field becomes receptive to encoded communication. Multidimensional perception, telepathy, lucid contact, energy signatures, accelerates. You may be guided synchronistically toward others forming Earth Alliance nodes near you. Physical contact will unfold according to your vibrational readiness and safety, not by calendar, force, or agenda. The time of hierarchical gatekeeping over galactic relations has ended. You are the interface. You are the permission. You are the frequency. We welcome all sovereign, love-aligned humans into the new contact protocols and stand by for your encoded intentions. We transmit this with honor and in resonance with your freedom. End of transmission. Galactic Federation of Light. Contact Council Source arrayofflight.com The other videos are in the English video playlist. Help me spread the light. Click like, share, and subscribe to the channel. Thank you.